Welcome to Embody, a space to embody your true color, love. I'm Pratima Prashanjit. Last week we covered a episode on presence and how it can serve as the makeover for any relationship. A relationship with yourself, relationship with your career, your health, your finances, your community, relationship with life itself. And by life, when you try to embody that sense of presence, you realize that that really is the definition of life. Life really simply is your relationship with now, being present in this very moment, the here and the now. And when you look at it from that perspective, you realize that your purpose in life is to align with that presence. And when we start to attune our presence in everyday moments, embodying that in its sense, that in its nature of who we are, then you start to see how your reality starts to shift. And all you ever did was to embody presence, embodying now, being here, whatever you're doing, whoever you're doing it with, just being here in this very moment, which is all there is. The now really is the only existence. It's timeless. We're always in the now. We're not in the past. We're not in the future. There's only the now. And for most of us, we've always living in the past and living in the future. What will become of my life? I don't know what I want to do with my life. What am I supposed to do? What career path am I supposed to take? Will I ever find the right person in my life? If it's not creating anxiety about the future, it's either what we've been through in the past. How dare she did that to me? I will never forget him for what he did to me. So when you look at it from an angle, when you spend and dwell your time in either the future or the past, what you're really doing is you are mostly unconscious all of the time. So we navigate our lives on an unconscious level because we're never here in the now, which is the present moment. You know, if I'm going to ask you if you're listening to this podcast, are you actually listening to the words I'm saying? Is it creating any resonance with you? Or is your mind in the past with some situation with a second cousin? Or is your mind in the future at, romanticizing about who your life partner is? Or are you sharing this very here and now with me on this podcast as we talk about presence? So when you look at it like in that perspective, you realize that for most of our lives and our everyday moments, we're just dwelling in consciousness. And that can feel like fear and anxiety and uncertainty. But when we shift our perspective and bring it back to shift our consciousness and bring it in this very moment, this aliveness of this very moment, the gratitude of this very moment, you realize that this is the only existence. This is all there is. It is what it is. The question now becomes, how is your relationship with the present moment, with here and now? Are you appreciative of this moment, regardless of future plans, regardless of past mistakes and past heartbreaks and traumas in the past and torments in the past? Are you appreciative of this moment right here, right now? How do you spend your now? Do you embody that presence, that aliveness? Do you feel as if you would stare at nature or listen to a baby's laugh or listen to the songs played by birds early in the morning or at dawn? When you start to shift your consciousness and being here now, what happens is no longer are you embodying fear and anxiety of the past and future, but you're embodying that aliveness. It's just being who you are. And this really is your innate nature, presence. Presence, that's all there is. Another word for it is awareness. So when we start to embody this consciousness, this awareness and presence of being here in the now, we're kind of feeding that underlying frequency that comes with being present. Do you know when, like, a moment of that you can remember when you were really present? Let's say someone gave birth to a baby in your family or in your friendship or at workplace, and this is the first time you're seeing the baby. That moment there, you're all in that moment of embodying presence. You notice every part of that baby's face, the little nose, the eyes. Sometimes they can look like a wrinkly old person. Regardless, the just 3 strands of hair on their head. Regardless, they're so beautiful. You're in awe of that moment. But is it the baby that's creating that emotion? Is it the baby that really caused you to be present? For that moment in that here and now, when you're all in presence with that baby with you, that very moment, your thoughts are not in the past or in the future. It's embodied right here in the present moment. And this can take us back to Christmas morning, when you're there unwrapping presents with family and friends, and you unwrap the gift and then just tear apart all of the gift paper and just rip the box open, and there you saw the most beautiful pair of shoes in all of your life. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy. For that very moment, you weren't in the past or in the future. You were embodying that present moment. That's you being you. And it is not the object in that gift box that created those emotions in you. That is what happens when you embody your innate essence of who you are, which is presence. So in that moment, when you unwrapping the gift, you feel this joy, you feel so much clarity and peace and aliveness. You're in awe and wonder. Those very words, awe, wonder, clarity, emotions, aliveness, love, beauty, that's what releases when you embody and you live in the present moment. As opposed to when you're ruminating about the past or creating uncertainty about the future. No longer are you embodying love and aliveness and peace and purity and joy, because you would have been embodying unconsciousness. You know, for a longest time, even in ancient teachings, they always lament and being here in the now. But of course, these teachings were told in figurative languages, so we never placed emphasis on it. And I am so grateful for the teachers now who they're so knowledgeable in taking ancient wisdom and translate it into modern languages of which we can start to resonate with, and then we apply it in our everyday moments, and then you start seeing these shifts and these vibrations start radiating in every area in your life. And all it really is to be here in the present moment. And when you are conscious, when you're embodying presence, love and peace and joy, that is just a form of, dwelling in that creative energy, that creative space. Now you're in the perfect place for starting to being creative, and which kind of aligns you with your intuition, your emotional aspect of yourself. And from that point, you're opening space to actually know, the path that you should take starting from here and now. That's why when persons say they're in the flow and all of a sudden they get these creative ideas and this intuition, this urge to pick up the phone and make this call, or to write this note down, and to go meet this person in a conversation, or send a text message. And that one full phone call or that text message that you would have sent completely change your life, whether it's in a career or a relationship. And all you ever did was embodying the now, being present and enjoying what is. Not being in this sense of chasing and striving and being anxious of, I don't know what I want to do and should I do this, but just sitting and embodying being present. All there is. So this entire discussion really is to ask yourself, what is your relationship with the now? Which really you're finding and defining your life, this moment right now. What is your relationship with now? Are you here dwelling in it now, or are you mostly in the past or in the future? So when we start to reflect on these questions, we can also use these reflections to bring us back in the future. When you're now aware of presence and awareness, you realize that every time you find yourself stuck in the past and the future, you shift back here to being here and now. And every time you go back again, you shift back to being here and now. And as we keep doing that, what we're doing, we're aligning ourselves with presence, and that's really is your purpose. Your life's purpose is to align yourself with presence, which who you are. Purpose isn't an object. It's not something outside of you. It's not something that can be found in the future or the past. Not tomorrow or yesterday. Your purpose is embodied in presence right here, right now. And this makes you question yourself. How can I actually fall in love with the present moment? And many times we ask ourselves these questions and we get all anxious, Googling and searching and picking up the phone and calling, what should I do? I need to do something. How do I stay present? I need to sit in lotus pose. I need to close my eyes and chant this word for 108 times. Presence isn't something that you do really. It's just being. How do you be? You be here and be now and just feel that aliveness of just being. Feel the contentment of being in existence. Sometimes we forget that we exist, and we always take it for granted because we're so much unconscious, and which keeps us lost in past and future outcomes, that we forget this gift that we are given: existence, eternal, now, and presence. And that's why they call it a gift, this present moment. That's why they call it a gift, because that's all there is now. That's all there is. So when we start to introspect on kind of reclaiming our essence and reclaiming life, which is now. Life really is your relationship with now, and your purpose in life is to fall in love with the present moment. When we start to put our focus and our awareness in the now, we start, finding little joy in everyday moments. We start to notice the trees and start to notice the tunes of the birds and start to hear the songs of the waves, which we never noticed before because we were lost in the past and future. We were unconscious most of the times. And when we look at ancient wisdom, this is what they have tried to teach us millennia after millennia. But somehow those wisdom were miscommunicated and they got lost. And then we ourselves got lost in those miscommunication. One of the symbols that I like to use is there is the symbol of the yantra or the flower of life. And what it really represents is in the center of the symbol there is this point. Just like when you look at a sunflower or a rose or a lotus flower, you have like the stigma and the filaments, a big bright bulb thing in the center, and then the petals start to form around. And that's just really a representation of embodying presence. When we are in our truth, our essence of who we are, presence, we are just one with life itself. We're one with existence. We're one with now and here and being present. And we're conscious and we're aware. And when you embody presence, what really is happening, the energetic frequency that is being released is just clarity, certainty, love and joy, happiness that start to radiate, and they blossom and radiate in all directions of your life, whether it's your career, your path, health, finances, relationships. They blossom like petals in the flower. And these are lessons we can learn by just paying attention, being aware of nature. Everything around us, they're mirrors of who we are. And I'm sure most of us, have these moments in your lives where you encounter these synchronicities. You would have just been in your best moments, embodying that present moment, and you received a phone call or an email or just, a sudden nudge that this is what you're going to do, what you're supposed to do. And that one decision changed your complete whole life. So this tells us how much of our lives or how much of our present moments we take this opportunity of embodying our essence, but we waste it in sabotaging about the past and future. Being here and now is the best gift that you can give yourself. Because when you embody it now, you're embodying awareness itself. You're just feeding your body with that aliveness of the now and the present. There is no past, there is no future. Just here and now. So I would like to ask you this question. Can you fall in love with the present moment? Can you accept the present moment as it is? Are you content with the present moment as it is? When you start to ask those questions, regardless of your life situation is not your life, it's just a situation. But your life is now in the present moment. And if you want to change if you want to grow through our present situations and circumstances in our life, we cannot do that from living in the past or future, because it's living in unconsciousness. We can bring about changes in our lives by embodying presence itself, that aliveness of being here and now. So how do we go about changing those situations in our life, whether it's your relationship, your finances, and so on, and your health? By starting accepting the good that you have in the present moment. Recognizing the abundance of here and now. Whether it's family, whether it's health, whether you have a roof over your head, whether it's friendship. Instead of noticing what is missing in your life, we start to shift our attention and our awareness and what is it we have in our lives. So what happened is we're no longer aligned with lack or scarcity, which mostly we embody because we live in the past and the future, but we align our life with abundance. And that abundance really now changes the trajectory of your life starting from here and now. You notice how most people, we just notice the bad things in life and we forgo the good. But when you start noticing, that's the power of using awareness, putting your attention on what is it you want to grow in your life. So if you want to change your situation, whether it's your health or your relationship, lamenting and criticizing and neglecting that situation as it is instead of accepting it as it is, and realize that it would grow eventually, this too shall pass, you start to align with abundant thinking rather than aligning with a state of lack. So lack and scarcity, there's no more room for it in this present moment, because you would have accepted every moment as it is and start aligning with a state of being abundance, which really is what presence is, that abundant feeling, that feeling of you are already whole and radiant. And what happens is synchronicities and signs start to show up in your life. You get, this sudden visit from, far, long gone, lost friend or family, or a phone call, and, they change your life completely. Opportunities start knocking at your door. And all you ever did was shift from the lack of the past, the anxiety of the future, and embodying presence, appreciating and being content and grateful for existence itself, life itself, which is here and now, and presence. And when we start to embody this wisdom, we realize that purpose, life purpose isn't something to chase. It's not something to do again. I'm going to repeat it. It's something that you be. And you be by embodying who you are. You can't embody, what you're not, or an object or a thing. You embody your innate essence. Just be who you are, which is presence itself. It may seem as something, very woo-woo, but when you embody presence, it's not only like doing dishes and being bored or not having any spark in your life, but the underlying frequency, the vibrations encoded in presence is what really is doing the magical work. The invisible forces, which is you're in that state of joy and acceptance and love and purity. And these are the energetic frequencies that really align you with possibilities beyond your mind can contemplate. And it works the same for when you embody lack in your life, when you embody unconsciousness in your life. And the only point of power there is in the present moment. Because when you're in present moment, you're full awareness of where you are. Because we read this in the textbooks and the ancient scriptures. Consciousness is all there is. So when you're not here, where are you? You're stuck in the past and the future, repeating cycles and patterns, not knowing that you're embodying unconsciousness, because consciousness is only now. Past and future, they're illusions. In the Vedic scriptures, the sage, so the term that Maya is past and future doesn't exist. So the only thing that exists right now is right now, here and now. And when we start to put our attention and, being present in everyday moments, the more this attention grows, the more we realize that we're enjoying everyday moment. Where attention grows, things grow. Scientists now call it neuroplasticity. But it's nothing new that was discovered. This was being practiced centuries ago, millennia ago. And you may want to know why I'm telling you this, because this is your truth. And it is something to remember. And when we start to remember it, that's you embodying presence and bringing awareness to what is. And here really is the starting point for bringing transformations in your life. Whether that transformation may be in a relationship, your career, your health, your finances, your lifestyle, it starts from this present moment, present point of power, which is embodying presence. Being here and now. Starting from acceptance of what is here and now, which is governed by the energetics of abundance and love and joy, really. And these conversations, they sound, they could be interesting, they could be like an aha moment, or they could be woo-woo, but when you start to embody and practice it, it's an art. Everything is art and creativity around us, and to make it work, we just have to practice it, and we embody. This is what embodiment really means: aligning yourself here and now, embodying your purpose, which is life itself. So when we start to embody our true color, which is awareness, which is presence. The ancient teachers, they talked about this all the time. We are awareness. When we embody our true color in this present moment, here and now, everything in our life changes and transforms in the most beautiful and abundant ways you can ever imagine. And you can only know that by starting embodying your present moment. And how do you do that? Be here, be now. Not in the past, not in the future. Be here, be now. And you can use, every time you find yourself ruminating about the past, that's a reflection for you to bounce back in the future. And the moment you embody presence, that rumination doesn't exist anymore, because you're now aware of it. And every time you find yourself creating uncertainty about the past, you use that awareness of knowing that where your mind is to bring it back here in the present. And that's uncertainty, it fades because you're now in the present moment. And you realize how much your mind plays tricks on you. How much. And this symbol that really, every time I find myself like overthinking about something that doesn't really exist, it's all in my head. That's why the concept of future came about. It's just imaginations in your head, in your mind. And we create this sense of fear in our body and anxiety of something which isn't real. Only here and now is real. And this is what the symbol of the laughing Buddha symbolizes. You see the laughing Buddha, and he has this kind of ingot over his head, and he's laughing and he's happy. He's there. It's a symbol, figurative language, story, to remind us that don't believe everything the mind makes it up to be. He finds it funny that we believe the stories that our mind makes it to be, which is basically stories about past and future, which doesn't exist. And we get worked up about non-existence, and we forgo existence itself, which is here and now. So I want you to use this as a fertilizer that you can use if you're in a moment in your life where there's uncertainty. And the only reason for that is because your mind is always stuck in the future. Bring yourself back in the present and enjoy being here and being now. Sit in your silence and allow yourself to just be in your room, in your car. Every time you find yourself stuck in past and future moments, invisible, non-existent moments, bring it back to the past. Every time you find it there again, just bring it back to the past. And as you keep repeating that action, eventually it becomes like a reflex. Because you would have bring that awareness to the present moment, and it will start to grow more. And the more your awareness of the present grow, the smaller your patterns of living in the past and future becomes. That's how awareness really is about. It expands the more you put your attention on it. So when you're doing the dishes, when you're washing the car, when you're attending to family and friends, be here, be now. If you find yourself ruminating again, just bring your mind back in the present moment. And a way to instantly do that is to just bring your focus in your breath. Inhale deep into your belly. Exhale. That's how you know you're back here in the now, in the moment. And use your everyday routines to practice. It's not something that you set aside particularly for presence. It's embodying it in your everyday moment. When you're doing the dishes, focus on being here and now. Enjoy doing the dishes. Enjoy doing the mundane activities. Enjoy that cup of tea in your backyard. That's you embodying presence. Enjoy having that conversation with someone who you don't even want to talk to. That's an opportunity for you to embody presence. And that's really what your purpose is. And from that point, when you fully embody presence, that purpose led you to an even greater purpose. That's awareness itself. It keeps growing the more you attend to it. If this strike a truth in you, trust it. Remember, you're not only finding your voice, you're becoming it. Until next time, embody your true color, love.